Welcome to this Odissi class. I will be beginning with a brief introduction of this dance form with the help of a PPT, a visual aid, so you all can follow along. So here on our screen, we have a short introduction to what Odissi dance is all about, a brief history. Let's explore this beautiful dance form together and undergo this journey. I've used a couple of theoretical sources. I'm just going to walk you through what those are. This is the first book. It is a book by my guru, Padma Shri Ranjana Gauharji. She has dedicated her life to this form and I am her disciple. And her works, her life's works have been penned down in this book, which I have used today to tell you what Odissi is about. So this is one of the sources. The other books that you may even find online if you want to learn more about Odissi dance are Odissi Dance by Shri D.N. Patnaik and The Pathfinder by the Odissi Research Center. So as we all know, dance takes, art for that matter, takes so much inspiration from what we experience in life, everything around us. In nature, there is dance everywhere. When raindrops fall, there is a pitter-patter of movement, of rhythm, of sound. When the water in the rivers and the streams flows, there is a dance, there is a rhythm, there is a flow, right? In all of nature, we see dance and music every day. The chirping of the birds, every morning we hear the beautiful chirping of the birds. The only relief that we as city dwellers also have, the little chirping of the birds living with us in the cities as well, right? And the rustling of the leaves, the falling of the leaves in the autumn season, there's a music even to that. So now we come to the origins of the dance form that we are dealing with, which is Odissi. And the first mention of Odissi was found in Bharat Muni's Natya Shastra. This is one of the most important texts on Indian dramaturgy, dance forms, music, and this text is one of the few sources that we have which mentions Odissi as one of the oldest classical dance forms. Here is a little excerpt that is found in the Natya Shastra, which actually explains the elements of Odissi and how it was not always known by the name of Odissi. It was actually referred to as Odra Magadhi, and over the years when it evolved and very recently after the partition in India, it got the term Odissi. Now Odissi dance form has one very important quality, as you will see going through these classes. It is a very graceful and a very soft dance form, very circular in its aesthetic, and you can, when you see the temples of Odisha and all the carvings of the temples, you will see how all the movements are very circular. So all the poses in Odissi are extremely graceful and the dance is very gentle. And this quality of Odissi is called its Kaishiki Vritti. It's a soft and graceful lyrical dance form, and the quality that Bharat Muni described it with in the Natya Shastra was the Kaishiki Vritti, the gentle, graceful aspect of it. Now we come to the historical traces of Odissi dance and the sculptures from where it finds its origins. The sculptures found in the temples of Odisha. Here in front of your screens you can see the Udaygiri, Khandagiri caves. If you ever get a chance to visit India and come to Odisha, you must visit these caves. Since you are students of Odissi, this will hold a lot of value to you. So these were the first few traces that we can see on our screens of Odissi dance. Here you can see the famous Nataraj pose, Shiva as the Lord of Dance, as Nataraj, at the Parashurameshwara temple in Bhubaneswar, the famous Jagannath Puri temple of Odisha and the famous Sun temple Konark. have thousands of sculptures decorating their walls, which are seen as doing a form which we now present day know as Odissi. These are some of the poses that you will find in the temple. You can see a lot of the poses are playing instruments, Odissi instruments like the pakhavaj, the mardal, the flute, the veena, and like that many other poses, poses of getting ready, Shringar Rasa, looking in the mirror, putting some kajal or eyeliner on the eyes. Like that, a lot of poses are all over the temples of Odisha. Here we can see a beautiful image of Lord Jagannath. Odissi is a dance form which is not done, for that matter any classical dance form in India is not done for mere entertainment. It has an end goal, it has a purpose, which is to achieve salvation through dance, through music, through any art, and it is a form of bhakti. In Odissi, we revere Lord Jagannath ji, who is extremely popular not just in Odisha, he is the Lord of the entire Jagat, therefore Lord Jagannath. And here you can see him with his sister and brother in this particular image, and a lot of Odissi is inspired by him, dedicated towards him. He is also considered to be an avatar of Lord Vishnu, or as we also know, Lord Krishna. As I mentioned, Lord Krishna also happens to be a very important aspect of Odissi dance, and one of the major texts written by Saint Poet Jayadev, who's written the beautiful text called Gita Govindam, is dedicated to Lord Krishna and Radhaji, and here we can see a Patachitra drawing of the two of them together. In Odissi, you will often see Lord Jagannath being depicted, the previous image of Lord Jagannath this way in Odissi. This is a common pose that we use in Odissi, as you learn ahead, which is inspired by none other than Lord Jagannath ji. Going towards the history of Odissi, so Odissi today is done by women and men all over the world. No matter how you identify, you can learn this beautiful art form, but originally it was done by the Maharis, and the Maharis dedicated their entire lives to this dance form. These are some images of the Mahari dancers. The late Shashimoni, the last living Mahari, who not until recently was very much with us, but not anymore. She was upholding an old tradition. So Maharis lived in the temple premises, and they were kings at that time, were their patrons. They would take care of the funding for these dancers, and these women would dedicate their entire lives studying the art form and performing it as a ritual, bhakti ritual for the gods. They were called Maharis, also Mahan Naris, which means great women, women who were well equipped with the arts and dedicated their whole lives to it. They were restricted to simply the temples at that time. It wasn't common practice for women of all kinds of backgrounds to be dancing at that time in Odisha. And then the history evolved, which we will now see. Then came along the Gotipua boys. Now how they came is interesting, because at one point India was invaded by a lot of foreigners, foreign elements, and when this happened, the Mahari tradition, which we just saw, was stopped and banned for a while. In this situation, the gurus at that time felt that, the teachers at that time felt that if there was nobody to take forward the dance, it would die out, and today I would not be able to stand in front of you and talk about Odissi. So in such a situation, the dance was taught to young boys who dressed up as girls and for the first time went out onto the streets and performed a version, a more acrobatic version of what we present day understand, what later got evolved as Odissi. So these boys were the Gotipuas, the little boys. This is how they did a much more acrobatic version of Odissi dance, which was liked by the masses, appreciated by the public. It had a lot of stunts, and that is how Odissi was from the Mahari tradition taken forward as a Gotipua tradition, and we can see the beautiful poses that they are striking. From here, let's move on to how it got more evolved and how we understand it as a separate tradition. Gotipua tradition still exists today, but we also have Odissi as you know it today. How that happened? Let's move forward. This was all thanks to the gurus, to the teachers. We are what we are because of our teachers. And Odissi also had 4 major pillars and many other gurus who built it up. So after the partition in India, the main pillars of Odissi dance who kind of used all their knowledge to assimilate and formulate a proper curriculum, a proper structure for Odissi dance were, as you can see on the screen, Adi Guru, the first Guru, Adi Guru Pankaj Charan Das ji, Guru Kelucharan Mohapatra ji, Guru Deva Prasad Das ji, and Guru Mayadhar Raut ji. Guru Mayadhar Raut ji also happens to be my Guru's Guru, my Guru Padma Shri Ranjana Gohar ji, whose book I have sourced this material from, learnt from the legendary, one of the pillars of Odissi dance, Guru Mayadhar Raut ji, and I learnt from my Guru Ranjana Gohar ji, and today I share that knowledge with you all, with that school of thought. So every Guru had their own unique contributions to make, and Guru Mayadhar Raut ji specifically went down south to Kalakshetra. He was one of the few Gurus who ventured out of Odisha to another state of India, learnt a lot of vocabulary, formal vocabulary of dance, a lot of emphasis on mudras, hand gestures, abhinay, and came back and enriched Odissi as a beautiful dance form. So these were the pillars of Odissi who formulated it into a proper structured Indian classical dance form post-independence. Now we come to the technique and vocabulary, something that you'll be learning today. There are some 4 basic positions in Odissi that are used a lot, which very soon I will teach you how to make. The first is standing straight, Samabhang. Very often in life also we find ourselves standing straight like this, and a lot of dance is inspired by what we experience in life. So the first position is a straight standing position, Samabhang. The next one is called Abhang, which is the bending of the knees, and as I mentioned in the beginning, Odissi is a very graceful, lyrical form, very feminine in its aesthetic. So the Abhang brings that out beautifully. So you have the Samabhang, the Abhang. Next you have the Tribhang, which is inspired by none other than Lord Krishna. And finally you have the 4th major position called the Chauka position, which is inspired by none other than Lord Jagannath ji. So these are the 4 stances that are very popular in Odissi, something that we will learn to make in today's class. As I mentioned, Tribhangi is inspired by Lord Krishna, who you can see on your screens playing the flute, and Chauka is inspired by Lord Jagannath ji, the Lord of the entire universe. Another very important aspect of Odissi dance is its torso movement, or as we call it, the Vaksha Sanchalan, the movement of the torso, only the torso. This is something that is very unique to Odissi dance. You will find it especially in this Indian classical art form, where a lot of the movements are accompanied by this torso movement right here. It can be from side to side or from front to back. Another distinctive aspect of Odissi dance, as you move forward in the classes you will notice, are the spins that we do, or as we call them, Brahmaris. There are different types of Brahmaris. What I just did was one of the many types that we will learn in the future classes. There are many hand gestures used in Indian classical dance. Odissi has some of its own specific hand gestures as well that are taken from other texts. How you have the Natya Shastra by Bharat Muni, there are other texts on dance and music like the Abhinay Darpanam by Nandikeshwara and the Abhinay Chandrika specifically for Odissi dance by Sri Maheshwar Mohapatra, from where these hand gestures are taken. There are particular jewelry and aharya elements that are used specifically in this dance form, like this belt I am wearing right here. It's called the Bengapatiya, the bangles that I am wearing, the earrings, my head gear, my tahiya, and like that many other silver jewelry aspects that are all white metal jewelry that is worn in Odissi dance. In other forms, especially from the southern part of India, you will see a lot of gold being worn, but the Odissi aesthetic requires one to wear silver or white metal jewelry. And that's it for the PPT part of our introduction. The slide ends with a small shloka from the Natya Shastra, which we will be reciting at the end of the class together. So we begin the class with a Bhumi Pranam. Bhumi, or Mother Earth, is what dancers are most in touch with. We are grounded right here. So we begin this class with honoring Mother Earth, on whom we stamp our feet. We take her blessings, and we jump right into this spiritual journey of learning an art form and growing with it. So I request you all to first watch how it's done and then step by step follow along. You can have a look first. What we need to do is something like this: ta, e, thi, na, trik, te, ta, e, thi, na, trik, te, ta, thi, na, trik, te, dhai, dhai, na, ti, na, dhin, na, kitta, dhini, ta. So that completes the first step that we need to do before beginning every class. The first movement is of keeping your palms joined together in a namaskar position like this, like so. Your feet are together. Feet are together, and this position is also called Samabhanga. Like I mentioned earlier in the PPT, there are 4 major stances, out of which the first one happens to be Samabhanga, where both the feet are together, and right now our hands are near our chest in the Namaskar position. So what we'll do first is focus on the feet. Stamp your right foot, stamp your right foot, bring that foot forward and lift your left leg to join it. So we're just taking a step forward. Right? Again, let's repeat that. Go back and let's repeat it. Stamp your right foot, bring it forward and place your left foot right next to it. Make a V with your feet. You can keep your hands on your waist. Make a little V with your feet. For now, you can keep your hands on your waist. We'll focus on the feet first. Bend your knees. Open them in opposite directions, both your knees. Yeah. With your heels touching each other. This position is also called the Kumbha Pada. sitting like this, right? Then I know this might be a little difficult to balance in, but if you've done your warm-ups, it should be all right. Slowly get up, slowly get up. Put your right foot back from where you came, left foot back, and we're done. This is what we're supposed to do with the feet. Now what we do with our hands is that we begin with the namaskar. From the namaskar, we bring it right here. All the fingers together. This position is called the pataka position, pataka hand gesture. From here, we've come here. We stamp our right foot, make a circle with our hands, bring the left forward and join them again in the namaskar. Then we slowly sit down. Yes. Touch the floor. Take its blessings. Take the blessings of Mother Earth. Slightly bring it closer to your eyes, almost touching them, but not really. Take it over your head, and make your hands meet near the navel, like so. Now, slowly get up, and take a step back as demonstrated earlier. There you have it. That's your first opening to every dance class. We will do this every time we begin. All right? Let's do it with a rhythm. 1, again, repeat. 1, 2, 3, start. Ta, I, thi, na, trik, te, ta. I, thi, na, trik, te, ta. I, thi, na, trik, te, dhai, dhai, na, ti, na, dhena, kitta, dheni, ta. So, there we have it, our Bhumi Pranam. We always begin and end our class with the Bhumi Pranam. We honor Mother Earth and we sort of take its permission, take its blessings, seek its blessings, so that we can do our practice in the right way. With this, we move on to the next segment, which is of teaching you the first major body positions, the 4 bhangis that are used in Odissi dance. Now, the first bhangi, as you saw on your screen, is called the Samabhanga. It is fairly simple. Both your hands are in a fist like this. This hand gesture is called mushti. It is kept on your waist like this. So, make a mushti position and keep it on your waist, right? And both your feet are together like so. And this position is called, or this bhangi is called Samabhanga. Standing straight, Samabhanga. The second majorly used position, as you saw in the image, is from your straight leg. Now you bend your knees and the other foot kind of, you come on your toe on the other foot, the right foot, your toe is up and your hip is protruding to the left side. Yes, your hip is out to the left side, right, while your right knee is bending here. So, it is a very graceful, very beautiful position called Abhang. Your one hand is in a fist on over to your waist and the other hand is kind of holding that hand gracefully. This position is called the Abhang position. Yes, so this is the Abhang position. The neck is tilted towards the opposite direction and the eyes are also looking in that direction. This is the second commonly used position called the Abhang. The variation of the hands may change as you start dancing and get more advanced. You know, the poses will change, but the basic position is like so, the abhang position, right? So after the abhang, so first was samabhang, second is abhang. After abhang we have the position which is inspired by Lord Krishna, and this position, this bhangi, is called the tribhangi. The tribhangi, which means that your body has three bends. One is at your neck, the second is at your waist, and the third is at your knee. So three bends in your body. Your neck is to your right hand side, the hips are protruding to the left side, and the feet are in opposite directions to each other, but in front of each other. And if you want to measure if you've taken the right amount of gap between the 2 feet, you simply take a fist and measure that both the heels have a fistful of distance between each other. You take a fist and measure a fistful to check if your tribhangi position is fine. All right. So one hand on your knees, one hand over to your waist, bend your knees, and here we have the tribhangi position, third most used bhangi in Odissi. And finally, one of the most important fourth body positions, the last one that we are talking about today, is the chauka stance, the chauka body position used in Odissi. That is inspired by Lord Jagannath. Now the way to make your chauka is that you stand this way with both your feet aligned like this. Now you rotate your right foot to the opposite direction. This way you will have the correct distance between both the feet. Now you bend your knees, your feet are correct now. Now with your hands you make a sort of a square. Yes, the square should not be like this open, otherwise you will all look like Bharatanatyam dancers. It needs to be a smaller square this way with your elbows up at all times. Yes. So this is your chauka position, your fourth most important stance in Odissi dance. Relax please, you can relax. So let's go over all the 4 stances. The first one being samabhanga, the second one abhanga, abhanga, the third one with both the feet in opposite directions and a fist full of distance between the two is your tribhanga with the 3 bends in your body, and the last one is where you measure the 2 feet in opposite directions, bend your knees and make a square with your hands. This is your chauka position. Do remember that your elbows must be up at all times. There is a tendency of beginners feeling tired and the position looking like this. That shouldn't happen. Your hands should remain up, and yes, you will feel a little bit of stress over your thighs, at least for the initial few days as you progress into the dance. But soon you will become a pro. So now that we've learnt the 4 stances, you may wonder that how does one move in these stances? How do I cover space while dancing? So we are going to learn steps from here, basic steps from here. There are about 10 basic steps in Odissi with a lot of variations within those 10 steps that equip you into becoming more advanced dancers. So today we will be learning the first step. Before we move towards learning the steps, let's sit down and learn how to give tal on our hands. We are first going to practice how to give a basic rhythm, a basic tala on our hands, so that when we are doing the steps, it becomes easy for us. So the first tal that we will learn today is called the Ek Tali Tal, which has 4 matras or 4 beats. So the way it goes is 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a clap on 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a cycle of 4. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now in these 4 beats, while saying the tal, we add some bowls. These bowls come from the instruments, the mardal that is used in Odissi. The sounds that the mardal makes, the same sounds we will make from our mouth and use those bowls to give the tal. So how it will go is ta, ta, tin, da, ka, dhi, ni, 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 ta. What we just did was a very slow speed, the first speed, the vilambit tal, the slow speed. Now if we were to move to a medium speed, we will do ta, ta, tin, dak, dhi, ni, 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 ta. That's a medium speed. In one beat, we are fitting 2 syllables in the medium speed. Now if we wanted to jump to the third speed, the drut speed, the fastest speed, we will fit 4 syllables in one beat. How? Ta, ta, tin, dak, dhi, ni, 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 ta. Back to the first speed, which you all were just trying. Ta, ta, tin, dak, dhi, ni, ta, ta, tin, dak, dhi, ni, ta, ta, tin, dak, dhi, ni, ta. So just remember, 1 you are clapping, 2, 3, 4 you are counting, and you are saying ta, ta, tin, dak, dhi, ni, ta. I hope that is clear, because moving forward we will be requiring this tal a lot, especially while doing our steppings. So let's begin with the first step for today. I would request you all, this time without my help, to try and make the chauka position, the one which is inspired by Lord Jagannath. Please try to make the chauka position so that I can teach you all the first step for today in this position. Wonderful, yes. Feet in opposite directions, 1 foot gap, like so. Your hands are in a square position Now that you've all come in the Chauka position, we are going to be doing the first step, which is basically to jump. Yes, you must jump and land in such a way that your core remains tight, your core is tight and your hands are not loose and your body is not shaking, but in fact your core remains tight, your spine remains tight. You jump and land back on your feet. That is your first step, and this step will happen in 3 speeds: the slow speed, the medium speed and the fast speed. Let's do our first stepping for today. Make your chalk position. Come into your Chauka position. Yes, ready? 1, 2, 3. Start. Ta, ta, tin, dak, dhini, ta, ta, tin, dak, dhini, ta, ta, tin, dak, dhini, ta, ta, tin, dak, double, ta, ta, tin, dak, dhini, ta, ta, tin, dak, dhini, ta, tin, dak, dhini, ta, tin, dak, double, ta, tin, dak, dhini, ta, tin, dak, dhini, ta, tin, dak, dhini, ta, tin, dak, dhini, ta. Yes, so that's your first step of the day in the Chauka Bhangi, the Chauka body position. I hope you're feeling nice and warmed up, and if you're experiencing this for the first time, you will observe that initially the first few days your thighs may feel a bit strained. Trust me, it's a good thing. It means you're doing the right thing. As long as you're not getting any aches and pains in your lower back or knees, you're fine. And if you are, then you must remember to warm up and do some body conditioning exercises before you come to class. We will be covering body conditioning over the classes that we carry on ahead as well. So if you don't get a chance to do it at home, we will also try and cover it in our classes. So that was our first step for the day. And another set of steppings that I'd like to teach you now, the second step, will be in the Tribhangi position. The Tribhangi position is the one which is inspired by Shri Krishna, Lord Krishna, the one which has 3 bends in the body. How to make the Tribhangi position, the one where you measure one fist between the 2 feet which are in opposite directions. So everybody in Tribhangi, great. Bend your knees, bend your elbows here. There is usually a curved bend in every part of your body when you're doing Odissi, including your chin and your neck, as you will see. So here in this step, what we need to do in this Tribhangi step is we need to stamp. Okay, all we need to do is stamp, right? And as we stamp, we are using our upper body, our torso. So when we are stamping, our torso bends on that side and then slowly comes back in the Tribhangi position. Stamp again, bending towards that side and then coming back in Tribhangi. So stamp, 2, 3, 4, stamp, 2, 3, 4. The same thing will happen on the left side as well. You are going to stamp, bend your torso to that side and then bring it to your Tribhangi position. Stamp, Tribhangi, stamp, Tribhangi, right? And this will also happen in 3 speeds: slow, medium, fast. Vilambit, madhyam, drut. Slow speed, medium speed, fast speed. So let's begin. Let's come into our Tribhangi position. 1, 2, 3 and start. Ta, e, thi, na, trik, te, ta. E, thi, na, trik, te, ta. Even my neck and my eyes are moving. I know this may be a bit advanced for you right now because you're focusing on the feet, but you can try and follow along. Left side, ta, e, thi, na, trik, te, ta. E, thi, na, trik, te, ta. E, thi, trik, te, dhai, na, ti, na, dhin, na. Double. We come back to the right side for the double speed. Ta, e, ti, trik, te, stamp. E, ti, stamp. Te, ta. E, thi, trik, te, dhai, na, ti, dhin, na. Left. Ta, e, thi, trik, te, ta. E, thi, trik, te, ta. E, thi, trik, te, dhai, na, ti, dhin, na. Double. Right side, third speed. Ta, e, thi, trik, te, ta. E, thi, trik, te, ta. E, thi, trik, te, dhai, ti, na, dhin, na. Left. Ta, trik, te, ta. E, thi, na, trik, te, ta. E, thi, trik, te, dhai, na, ti, dhin, na. Kitta, dhini, ta. So, that was one set of stepping, the first set of stepping which you learnt in Chauka, and then the second set of stepping, also number 1, you have learnt in Tribhangi. These both are stepping number 1. The reason why this is stepping number 1 is that we are only doing a step on the count of 1. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1. So, the only time I am doing any movement, it is happening on the count of 1, which is why it is called the stepping number 1. As you advance, you will see that when you learn stepping number 10, for example, all the 10 counts will have a step attached to it. Here, even in Tribhangi, when we did stepping number 1, we are only stamping on the count of 1. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, right. So, I may be using 2, 3, 4 for my body movement or my neck movement or eye movement, but with my feet I am only stamping on 1. Therefore, we call this the stepping number 1 Chauka and then followed by Tribhangi. So, I hope that this has registered well for all of you. We will do one more variation of stepping number 1 in Tribhangi, which is a unique stepping that was introduced by my Guru's Guru, Mayadhar Rao ji, when he was building Odissi. He wanted to give different variations within steppings so that the students who are practicing can have a variety of ways of doing stepping number 1 for their own practice. So, I am introducing you to one more step in Tribhangi. Here again I would like you to make a Tribhangi. You can stand in Tribhangi position. First we look at the feet and what needs to be done with the feet. Here we will stamp our feet as we have been doing and rotate our heel, bring our knees in, and then rotate our knees out, back to Tribhangi, and again stamp, right. So, there is a stamp, rotate in, out, stamp, rotate in, out, stamp. Same thing on the left side. You are stamping only on one because this is stepping number 1, another variation of it. Stamp, rotate in, out, stamp. 2, 3, 4, stamp. 2, 3, 4, stamp. 2, 3, 4, and stamp, right. The hands remain the same, mushti, the fist position, one on your waist and the other on your thigh. No change in the hand position, but the feet variation is, let's do it together, 1, 2, 3, start, stamp, 2, 3, 4, and ta, e, thi, na, trik, te, ta, thi, na, trik, te, ta, thi, na, trik, te, dhai, na, ti, dhin, na, kitta, left, ta, thi, na, trik, te, ta, thi, na, trik, te, ta, thi, na, trik, te, dhai, na, ti, dhin, na, kitta, double, ta, e, thi, trik, te, ta, e, thi, trik, te, ta, e, thi, trik, te, dhai, na, ti, dhin, na, left, ta, e, thi, trik, te, ta, e, thi, te, ta, e, thi, trik, te, dhai, na, ti, dhin, na, double, ta, a, ti, trik, te, ta, e, thi, trik, te, ta, e, thi, te, dhai, na, ti, dhin, na, kitta, left, ta, e, thi, te, ta, e, thi, te, ta, e, thi, te, dhai, na, ti, dhin, na, kitta, dhini, ta. So, there we have it. You've learned so many things today, starting from the Bhumi Pranam to the 4 body positions of Odissi dance, Samabhang, Abhang, Tribhang, and Chauka. And then in Chauka, you learned how to do a step, which is to jump, and in Tribhangi, you learned how to stamp, and also a variation of moving your heel gracefully and coming back into the stamp, right. So, let's move on now to the concluding part of our class, which is the final segment. It is also a little bit of a cool down before you exit. The final section of this class, I will be introducing to you all the first 5 hand gestures that we use in dance. These are also referred to as the Hasta Mudras, right, the Hasta Mudras, the hand gestures that we do in Indian classical dance. They are of various kinds, and we will be learning the first 5 out of those. These are also mentioned in the Natya Shastra by Bharata Muni, and they all have different meanings. Whenever you watch a dancer, especially an Indian classical dancer, you may wonder how is it that she is able to, or he is able to tell, or however they identify, able to tell so many stories using their hands and eyes and feet. It's because every movement means something. And a lot of times these hand movements are inspired by our own lives. For example, this movement. As children, especially in India, if we like something over here, don't we say, oh, this is so lovely, this is so nice, this is so beautiful. And oftentimes in dance, this mudra is used to say exactly that. One of the things that it says is maybe to say how beautiful you look today, right? This is the Hamsasya mudra. And like this, many other things. For example, in common life, we may ask, what's the time? What's the time? And in dance, this Alapadma movement may also be used in a similar fashion to ask a question or to wonder how something is so beautiful, right? So you can connect these mudras to form an entire story because every mudra has multiple meanings. So to begin with today, I will teach you the first 5. The first one being Pataka. The first mudra here with your elbows up in the chauka hand position, fingers joined together, all fingers joined together, a lot of energy in the fingers, no droopy loose fingers, joined together. The first hand gesture is called the Pataka. Pataka. The Pataka may be used for various things to show the cool breeze on a summer's day or the huge waves of an ocean, or to show a pathway maybe to someone. And like that, many other meanings are attached to this one mudra. You may have used it for a child, a small child, to ask them to go to sleep. What are you using here? Pataka. You're joining 2 patakas to make a certain gesture. I'd urge you all to observe in your daily lives every day from here on till we meet next. Where all am I using this simple hand movement which means so many things, right? And we overlook these things, but art forces you to look within, to observe around you and in nature where all you can use a simple hand movement where all your fingers are together. So here we have the Pataka. The second one is Tripataka. Your ring finger is going to bend this way. The rest of the fingers are together like so. This is the Tripataka position. Now the Tripataka may be used to maybe write a letter. One hand can be in Pataka, the other hand can be in Tripataka, right? It can be used to put on a bindi. While you are looking at a Pataka mirror, you can pick up the bindi and use the Tripataka to adjust your bindi, right? So this is your Tripataka, second hand gesture that you are learning today, Tripataka. There is a tendency for us to maybe make our Tripatakas like this. The fingers may be loose, the hand may be, not in the right position. Make sure that the elbows are lifted like this and your fingers are tightly together, Tripataka. The next one is Ardhapataka. Here your tiny little finger and the ring finger which is already bent are bending together and you're forming this position. So Pataka, Tripataka and then Ardhapataka. Now the Ardhapataka may be used to show a flag. It again may be used to show a pathway. It may be used to show thunder and lightning, right? With the Pataka you can make clouds, and with the Ardhapataka you can show the lightning in the clouds. With the Tripataka you can show the trees that are swaying in this weather. So you've got yourself an entire story with just the first 3 mudras of dance. So pataka, tripataka, ardhapataka, kartari mukha, the second last mudra that you are learning today, kartari mukha, which is used to show scissors or an argument between someone, two people being separated, and even death. So right here the kartari mukha may be used to show the more negative aspects of a storyline, right? And then finally we have the fifth and the last mudra that we are learning for today, the Mayura. Here my ring finger's tip is joining the tip of my thumb, the Mayura. The Mayur means the dancing peacock. The dancing peacock is the Mayur. The Mayur may also be used to show the creepers over the trees in a forest or hanging over a wall, and yes, and many other different meanings can be attached to this mudra, which we will learn along the way. So let's do a quick revision. First, pataka. Second, tripataka. Third, ardhapataka. Fourth, kartari mukha. And last one for today, Mayura. Mayura. Thank you so much. With this we come to the end. We are going to conclude with the Bhumi Pranam, so you all can stand up. And we started with this, we are going to end with this, a little Bhumi Pranam towards the end, after which we will be reciting a shloka that honors our gurus and gods. This shloka will be repeated by me at the end of every class, and I would like you all to repeat in your homes as well. So first let's begin with the Bhumi Pranam. Ta, I, Thi, Na, Trik, Te, Te, Ta, I, Thi, Na, Trik, Te, Te, Ta, I, Thi, Na, Trik, Te, Te, Dhai, Dhai, Na, Ti, Na, Dhena, Ketta, Dheni, Ta. Shloka for today. Before we end, I will say one line and you can repeat at home. I trust that you're repeating. Angikam Bhuvanam Yasya Vachikam Sarva Vangmayam Aharyam Chandra Taradi Tvam Numaha Satvikam Shivam Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurur Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Thank you everyone.